Welcome. Hits and misses. Sunday, week 8, dominant Sunday, National Tight End Day. Scott Hansen said that a million bazillion times. Like, there were some there's awesome football today.
Yeah.
Awesome football. The tight ends, that like their season averages are going to look crazy based on today. But it was a really fun day. I'm not even going to lie. This is going to be a skew positive show because we really got a lot of great action today. All right, so this is Hits and Misses Week 8. I'm Toomey, best friend Eric. What's up, Eric?
What's up?
We got a lot to talk about, y'all. We got a lot to talk about, so let's hop right into it. I'm gonna just start with my screens are right. We gotta start with the tight ends, man. We gotta start with tight ends, bro. Like, did it show up? It's not showing up. Okay, it's being weird for me. As long as it shows up for you and it shows up for the people, that's cool. But yeah, National Tight End Day was absolutely insane. Like, we had a dominant day for tight ends. We got K-Dot with 29. We got Kyle Pitts with 25. We got Travis Kelce. I think he had 23, or he may have gotten higher because we screenshotted that before we stopped. Trey McBride, 21. Like, the position went crazy. There's a lot of people who are asking me whether they should flex a tight end or not, and I'm typically kind of shy about that, but today was a good day to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who was your favorite today? Who's your favorite tight end? That's a funny thing to say.
I will go ahead and say probably Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts finally showing up, probably playing a game that everybody anticipated he should have done from the jump. But even watching this game, you saw how he was hard to take down. The guy has speed. He can go ahead and catch one and take it all the way to the house. So it makes you wonder, why doesn't this happen more often? To the chagrin of Drake London, unfortunately, who didn't have the best game. But Kyle Pitts, he really finally paid off. So if you don't really believe in Kyle Pitts, off of this game, you should be able to sell if you really want to. Man, really did work for sure.
I feel you, bro. All right, so I think that this is something where great day for tight ends. Don't expect this every week. I don't think this is something that we could kind of bank on like that. But today they really did live up to this manufactured holiday, and it really helped us out. So I'm really happy about this. Like, I think every tight end, for the most part, you had a tight end who did well. In one of your leagues, you had a tight end who did some ball shit for you. So congratulations, everybody. We finally got a good tight end day.
Yeah. All right. Even those who had Evan Ingram with that last super catch he did, he even came through a little bit with the end.
100%. Where you want to go next, bro?
We can keep it positive, like you said. Let's go ahead and talk about the rookie rideouts.
The rookies?
Yeah, rookie wide receivers. Yeah, you can tell they had a really good day today. Marvin Harrison Jr., after being terrible last week, he came out balling, as you can see. 1 touchdown, 23.10 points, 6 of 7 receptions, 111 yards. Keon Coleman, with the addition of Amari Cooper, it seems like they're trying to go ahead and leverage the fact that Amari Cooper might be opening up some opportunities for him. And Keon Coleman's getting some looks. As you can see, 5 of 7. That's 7 targets, 70 yards, and a touchdown. He also had a really wild catch to start the game. And as well, Lad McConkey, 10 seconds before we had to start the show, this man starts going off. So we're lucky we caught some of his stats up here. 111 yards and 2 touchdowns, as well as Brian Thomas Jr., who has been balling throughout the season. It seems like he's doing well, and Christian Kirk, I believe, got hurt. You haven't even heard too much about Christian Kirk. He's pretty much been displaced by Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. is for sure the guy that's really, really knocking out of the park right now. So the rookies, as well as tight ends this day, they really, really took it there. I'm very, very impressed by what I'm seeing with Keon Coleman. If you've been holding on to him, he looks like a guy who might be turning the corner for you, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's a lot with the rookies. So with Keon Coleman, I agree. I was talking, and so we're going live on TikTok. Thank you, everyone who's been on here. I talked about Keon Coleman today. I wasn't super high on him, but I was a little concerned about the matchup for Amari Cooper if he was going to see a lot of Devin Witherspoon. Now, I wasn't watching that game. I was watching Red Zone, so I'd like to see how that broke down. But he had a really disappointing day as well, so I would not be surprised if Devin Witherspoon was shadowing him because one-on-one, he only has allowed 4 catches on the season, on single coverage. Devin Witherspoon is a problem. And people they just don't throw his way because he's just a dog. But Keon Coleman, this is around the time you see these rookies we're week 8 going to week 9. This is when they turn the corner, when things start to slow down for them. Saw that with Marvin Harrison Jr. again. A lot of weird press conferences and awkward interactions this week. Kyler Murray was talking about this is a guy you want to get like 10 targets to. And so I was definitely expecting him to have a good day. And he had done nothing to make it into my top 16, but I put him in there in my rankings. So I'm glad I did that. Lad McConkey, I mean, like they're starting to let Justin Herbert air it out. And if they're airing it out, he is the guy who's leading them down the field. I mean, he is a slot receiver out of Georgia, but he is the guy who's giving them those opportunities. He's breaking those tackles. We're seeing truly like that. He was barely a second rounder, like that high end level talent. And hopefully that's going to continue as well. And then, like you said, Brian Thomas Jr., there are some trade rumors circulating around Christian Kirk. And when you do see that, sometimes you see, like we saw, honestly, with Calvin Ridley the other week, some of these players prior to that, I don't know if it's like they don't want to get them injured so they could trade them or they don't want to show them off too much, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of that at play. Also, the fact that, I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. is just eating his lunch. So that kind of, I mean, that's just kind of is what it is with him. So rookies balled out. I do expect these guys are going to be kind of up and down, but they were all amazing. I do think that they're worth investing in if you have an opportunity, but it's probably too late.
Definitely.
All right. We're going to, like, let's see. I want to see because I barely. So, what's going on online? So, Eric, you can see the overlays. I can't. So, whenever I pull it up, I can't really tell what position of like player we're talking about. So, I'm trying to like make it big as hell so I can see it. I want to talk about not him, not yet. I got. Where's my boy? Where's my guy? Mr. Winston. Where are you at, sir? If I can't find him, I'm going to just talk. Oh, yeah, I can't find him, so I'm going to just talk.
Okay.
Jameis Winston, everyone on TikTok. So this is for you guys. I caught a lot of BS for that Browns take. I caught a lot of BS for that. I'm staring you right in your eyes, TikTok. Caught a lot of heat for that. I said the Browns are going to win the game. Definitely covering the 7 points. And on TikTok, we got it was a lot of trash talk. Like, bro, you don't know ball, you casual, you don't know nothing what you're talking about. Jameis Winston's over under with 235 passing yards. I was like, he's smashing that. Literally, the Baltimore Ravens give up over 100 more yards than that. They give up over 330 something passing yards a game. And guess how many yards he had today? 335.
Woo!
Like, what are we doing, bro? Like, that was a call. That was a call. Give me props. And if you guys are on here, you should be following. Everyone in here should make sure they subscribe. That one was a call. That's a call of the year type thing. And I said it midweek. People were dogging me. I was like, all right, let me just dig in a little bit more. I dug in my feet. I was like, no, they are winning the game outright, period. Money line. They're winning it. I'm just propping myself up. I don't even know where my point is.
I got to give you some props. I mean, that's a big call. I mean, it's hard to say something like that, and you actually went with it all the way. I don't even know if people expected Tillman to be the return that he was. My goodness. That man is like freaking NVIDIA stock right now with his kind of return that he gave you if you went and got that man before the week started. Holy cow. He almost put up 30 points today. My word. 7 of 9, 99 yards, 2 tutties. Boy, talk your stuff, Tony. Talk your stuff.
Of course, that is the one overlay that didn't load. That's probably the world telling me I need to calm down and be more humble. I can't show all this stuff. But, like, yeah, it was a great game. Like you said with Cedric Tillman, very much, I mean, not the number one priority. There's always going to be some running back, I'm sure, depending on injuries and everything. But, like, he is very highly, like, he's up there. Because I don't know if we're getting Joe Flacco 2.0, but this is shaping up to be the same situation again from last year. Maybe a poor man's version of it. Both of those guys are very interception prone, turnover prone, like Joe Flacco was last year. He like dominated in touchdowns and dominated in interceptions too last year. Defense is good. Nick Chubb is going to get healthier. They didn't have him last year. Like there's a world where the Browns dug their foot in the ground and say, no, moving forward, we're at least competitive. Now, Jameis is Jameis now. Jameis is going to do some Jameis stuff. Most entertaining man in football, and he's going to be entertaining turning that ball over. But if they can really like just get their defense to continue to play solid, and they just got a passing attack that could light it up, I think they're going to be an interesting team to watch moving forward for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Where you at next, bro?
I might as well go with Nick Chubb. As you mentioned, he didn't have the best game today, but you got to understand Baltimore's defense, it skews towards being a very good rush defense. So as you had already highlighted, they can get that ball in the air, and that's where they're weak at, and that's certainly where the Browns win. It's a divisional game, so I don't even think people thought that it would be as hard fought as it was because the Ravens against everybody else, everyone knows what the Ravens can do. They got Lamar Jackson back there. You never count him out. But the Browns are so used to playing them, they knew exactly how to get through those guys. And luck was on their side. Watching that game, if Williams comes up with that interception, we're not here right now having this conversation. But that's any given Sunday type stuff right there. You know what I'm saying? So as it seems, Nick Chubb didn't have the best of games, but he's going to get healthier. He's not going to play defenses that are that stout against the run. And as you said, as they know that they have to respect the pass going forward, that could hopefully open up Nick Chubb's game going forward.
I agree. I think they got 4 of their 5 starters back. They lost Jedrick Willis. He didn't play this week. But eventually he's going to play. Like you said, he's coming off I'm honestly surprised he's playing. I thought there was a possibility he would retire based on that injury and his age. Yeah. And so it's going to take him a while to get cooking. But if they could kind of bide their time, if they can make it into the playoffs, Nick Chubb will be very interesting in like the NFL playoffs. Fantasy, I don't know. But in the NFL playoffs, it'll be an interesting squad.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to talk about a lot more of these. We're going to take a quick break, and on the other side of this, we're going to crank through all the hits and misses of the week.
Hey, it's the Podfather. I have great news. The draft kit is live. It is world famous. Why? Because it is the best resource for winning fantasy football championships that exists. There are rankings and cheat sheets for every format you can imagine. We have projections both at the team level and the player level. And wherever you are, you can click on a player, open them up, and see in-depth written analysis about what to expect in fantasy football from that player this year. And then you can click on the team, and you can get even more in-depth analysis, all the drivers of fantasy production, both in a positive and negative direction for that team, including a signature trend. And the graphics are incredible. So these team insights, they give you the team-level projections, the vacated targets, the vacated ARs. And we added a bunch of features. Individual cheat sheets for Theo and Billy and Dario. So you could take your favorite analyst and download their personal draft cheat sheet. And then in the commissioners section, Memphis Young lays out everything you need to know to manage a league. The best minds in the industry contributing analysis. It's certainly not the most inexpensive draft kit on the market, but it is the best. Playerprofiler.com/draft kit. Playerprofiler.com/draft kit. Go get it.
Go get that draft kit. That's going to really help you out. And there's a lot of things. You may be asking, why am I pitching a draft kit right now? There's a lot of contests that are all season long where you draft all year. So it's still important to be understanding like how you should be drafting. So make sure you guys check that out. All right. So there's a couple things. So tonight, there's a couple things on TikTok I want to bring up. Somebody was asking, or they were saying DJ Moore and Kenneth Walker sold 100%. They were trash today. There ain't no bones about it. Kenneth Walker, top 4 pick for me. Awful.
He apparently was sick starting the game, but
man, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. We can't do the 2 weeks in a row you being sick, my guy. Like, we can't do that shit. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm not cool.
I hear you.
Anyway, all right. I am Sam. Any picks tonight? Great question. So tonight's game, San Francisco versus the Cowboys. The pick that I like the most is Jordan Mason over 16.5 rush attempts. San Francisco has to go back to old school Shanahan, heavy run and play action off of that because they just do not have all the weapons anymore. They definitely don't have the field stretcher that they had in Ayuk. Even though he wasn't super productive, he still is a critical part of that offense to open things up for Kittle underneath, for Debo underneath, etc. And so Jordan Mason, this matchup is the best matchup you could possibly have. Now, Dallas, they could bow their backs and they could develop a spine today and say that they are going to actually defend the run. But again, like PFF, EPA, they're bottom 4 run defense across the board. They're going to be better than that because it's hard to stay that terrible, but they're not going to have their defensive ends again. The San Francisco 49ers offense, they're just going to put out 2 tight ends, spread out that defensive line, and then just find those downhill lanes. And Mason's just great at that. So I expect him to get 22 plus carries. So to me, that's like one of the safer bets tonight. I'm taking San Francisco on money line overall, but yeah, I think that Jordan Mason over rush attempts will be like my favorite for you. And I'm sorry, bro. What just happened in the Washington game? Did you see that?
I was watching. They had a late score touchdown rush, and the Bears came up and also went for 2. That's when we were in the middle of trying to get the show started, but I'm pretty sure they came out and won the game at the last second there,
I see a
if barring
touchdown.
shenanigans.
Like did Noah Brown just have did Noah Brown just have some big ass catch or something?
Oh my God, he must have.
Like, yo, bro, that's like, what's up? Like, yo, Jaden Daniels.
No, we were starting. I couldn't even see it. I had to write it off like it was over. We missed some history just now.
Yo, bro, because I see my man Dynasty Football Key, and I looked like Jaden Daniels just went, wow, bro. Jaden Daniels.
I'll be honest. I thought it was over because we were getting the show started. I totally missed the last few seconds.
So, see, this is what we do. We're giving it to y'all. We're not watching the show. A tipped Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And they won the game on a tipped Hail Mary.
That's amazing.
That's crazy, man.
That is amazing.
That's crazy. Thank you guys for spotting that out. That's nuts.
Yeah, that's nuts. Daniels. I was needing that. Not gonna lie.
for real. Like I was saying, Jaden Daniels, I'm starting him. I still was like, he's the top 10, maybe not top 2, but top 10. And it was looking like a terrible take. You hooked us. You hooked us up,
man.
Jeez. That's what's up. All right, so let's keep it positive. We're gonna keep these positive vibes going. All right. I gotta talk about my guy, Achin. My guy, he's just coming through. It wasn't the prettiest game in the world for Miami. Like Jaden Waddle, he's on this list of misses. We don't even have to talk about him. He was disappointing, but honestly, I'm not even really super surprised by that. Like I know Tyreek Hill gets a ton of targets. Jalen Waddle just doesn't. And the fact that Achin, 8 targets, 6 of 8 for 50, that is the thing that is separating him right now. All the other stuff is fine. The carries are great. He got 10 carries for 97 yards. Like he finally had like one of those big runs, and he hadn't had that yet. True. But it's these receptions. If these receptions are going to stay, I believe he's gotten, what is that? So that is 776. So that is, I can't do math. That's 20 catches in 3 games with Tua healthy. Like you're on pace to easily be a 1,000-yard receiver if on a 6-17 game pace. So Devon Achin, like all these concerns about him just not like being a satellite back, like no, bro, like he is, even with little carries, you're gonna, if you're starting to see efficiency plus this receiving work that no one factored in like that, you're talking about potentially league-winning top 1 to 3 running back rest of season. Even Mostert, who had a great game, like what was his? I mean, he got, where are we at? He got 9 carries for 19 yards in those 2 touchdowns. Now, goal line's gonna reduce your average. I get that, but he is nowhere near the receptions. Like 1 of 2 for 11 yards. Achin is a part of this pass game. Whenever Tua is scared, he's looking for 28. And so I do think that there is Devon Achin is a league winner, guys, and I hope you drafted him. All you guys on TikTok, I hope you guys drafted him too. What do you think, bro?
I like what you said about Waddle. Achan's success pretty much has taken from the opportunity that Waddle had. They're not going to force the ball to him like they do Tyreek. Tyreek is proven. They saw what they had in Achan from last year, and they seem to have built plays to go ahead and put him in space and emphasize his strengths. And you see it playing out and working for them. So I think it is at the cost of Waddle's opportunities. If you did have Waddle, if you could sell him for something like that and say that this is an off game to his back right now, I'd definitely try to take this time to move on from Waddle. I myself used to be a believer in Waddle, but it seems like this offense is centered around Tyreek Hill, of course, and Devon Achan. Achan getting those catches and able to do something with them, and just the man's talent altogether. You have to respect that. And given what we've seen with Tua's return now, that is pretty much what they have on their playbook. Every team is going to have to focus on Tyreek and Achan. You might have a game here and there where they might then set them up to get the ball to Waddle. But the consistency as Waddle being like the 1B, he's no longer 1B. He's a 2 in this offense for sure, given how things are right now. I will say that. I totally agree.
Yeah. Like Waddle, I don't know. Like that's another guy. Like you're not going to be able to sell him for anything. Like he'll be part of a package, maybe. You honestly, it's probably better strategy to just like buy him even cheap, like just to see what happens and then try to flip him or something. But like he's not going to be consistent. He's just not going to be. Like you said, Achan, him getting 8 targets is dominating the upside for Waddle, because Waddle needs to make the most amazing play happen to give you the value where you drafted him. And that's really disappointing. So I do think this is a guy who, if you have him on your team, I don't know if you can do anything with him. I wouldn't cut him yet, but that kind of depends on who you're looking to pick up. I would definitely, I would just pray that he has a great week. I don't know who they're playing next, but pray that he has a great week. Sell him then, because you just got to get him off your squad.
He certainly falls in that category. You can't cut him, but you don't want to give him up for nothing.
Yep. Oh, boy. So we got some people on TikTok talking smack. So, man, Hayesdow said, Bo Nix did better than Daniels. You lied.
Who sees that coming?
No, first of all, like, not even like real talk. Bo Nix had 28 points. Jaden Daniels had 22. Are we doing that? Do you know what I mean? Like, first, and I said this very clearly. If you have Jaden Daniels, we didn't know if he was going to play. I will always start Jaden Daniels over Bo Nix, even with today. I will start Jaden Daniels over Bo Nix. If you don't do that, that's on you. You can do that if you want to. But what I did recommend to anyone who had Jaden Daniels, because we just didn't know if he was going to go, was like pick up Bo Nix, because I love Bo Nix's matchup. I start him in the league that we're in, like our side league. Like, I love Bo Nix's matchup. The matchup was great against Carolina. Unfortunately, they just are terrible. They're dog shit on defense. Yeah. And like they even got a little healthier on defense, but they're just so bad. And the fact that you had Bryce Young on the other side, there's just nothing there to even compete against. Like Bo Nix prior to today, 8 of 11. I think they only scored 11 total touchdowns on offense for Denver.
I can believe
8 of those. Yeah, 8 of them, though, are Bo Nix rushes or passes. Like, he's involved in nearly every touchdown they have. And again, same case today. I feel great about the call I made on that.
Yeah, Bo's receivers had a couple more catches. His day actually can a little bit better if I can learn how to speak. So yeah.
All right, we got a question in the chat on YouTube. So with Dowdle out, do I pick up and play Tolbert, Dalvin Cook, or Warren? I have Najee on that team. Please help. So safest bet is Tolbert in PPR. But I will say, personally, I would be starting Dalvin Cook and seeing what happens. You can get a dud. You can get a zero burger on that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they were really talking him up over the last day or two, elevated him to the roster for him to not play. I do think they're going to kind of give him a shot. And we've seen, you saw like Kareem Hunt, we've seen these older running backs just come out of nowhere, especially from that 2017 class, and start to ball out. That 2017 class is actually balling the hell out right now. Mixon, James Conner, like that crew is going crazy, actually. So who's to say that Dalvin Cook just doesn't have a little mini resurgence and you're already ahead of the game?
Yeah, he should have fresh legs. So I agree. If you're looking for like a firecracker tonight, somebody that they don't see coming, he has no tape out there they can prepare for right now with him on that team, I would lean Dalvin Cook.
100%. Then I got an interesting question from or X, whatever we call it now. Would you add James Cook or Zeke? It is very clearly James Cook. James Cook. And let's just talk about him real quick if I can find the graphic. Do you have any thoughts? I know this is one of my players, but did you have any thoughts on James Cook today?
I think James Cook, everybody was worried about what's the man that was doing so well when he was out?
Ray
he had
Davis.
a very good, Ray. James Cook, they aren't going to just let him replace him just like that. And James Cook, as much as the pun is used, was cooking today on the ground. So he was doing his thing, scoring and all that good stuff. But as you mentioned before, he does get a number of receptions. So he does his thing there, and he's very well baked into that offense. I think with people having to respect Amari Cooper and Keon Coleman, even in the sense of that game, they could not just focus on stopping James Cook. I think that's why the Bills may have taken the place to actually go ahead and get Amari Cooper, because putting him on the offense, probably not even making him a mainstay of the actual focus of the offense, throwing the ball to him, helps open up the players who are already very familiar with the plays that are baked around them so that they can actually get much more exposure to be in the open. Like Keon Coleman, you could also do the same thing for James Cook. More and more teams, as the Bills were playing, were knowing James Cook is pretty much doing everything for the Bills. If we pretty much just stop him, we make them a lot less dimensionless. And so I think James Cook has a lot more opportunity given that Amari Cooper was out there. So this is very good for James Cook. James Cook can actually maintain what he has been doing from the start of the season, and he's a very good investment.
Yeah, like James Cook this week, and I know there were a lot of people freaking out about the Ray Davis thing for good reason. Ray Davis is a great player, and if Davis, like if James Cook went out for the season, he's up there with the Braylon Allens, and I would actually put him higher based on the team not sucking ass so much. But I would put him on a higher pedestal. We're going to talk about the Jets, but I'm going to put him on a higher pedestal than even like a Braylon Allen if like the starter went down. But the one thing is, I was thinking that he was going to have. I was not thinking. Well, I guess it was very similar. I was like, this could have been like his Miami game he had a couple of weeks ago. I was like, he's just going to be heavily involved because Seattle, even though they've gotten healthier up front, even like last week they got healthier and they were terrible against the run. And last week they got healthier up front, but they still gave up 155 yards to Atlanta. They're just a bad run defense, and so. This is just like Buffalo. People don't think this whenever you think of Buffalo. You think of Josh Allen and his arm or him on the ground, but like they want to be a traditional running team. They're trying their best to do that first. And so that's why James Cook is getting a lot of work. And last week he was coming off of injury, so that's why I think he just wasn't in the game that much. And after the first half, it was a blowout, so you didn't need to really stress him out that much. But this week, they needed him to get the lead, and then they were able to do a lot of things off of that. I think that this offensive line is one of the best in PFF from a run blocking standpoint, and we just need to really understand, like, they want to run first. They want to be a run-first team first and foremost. Now, if that's effective or not, that's a different story. But going into Seattle, understanding the conditions were going to be a little windy, rainy, and Seattle's not going to have their main weapons, this was a game that really set itself up for Buffalo ground game to just grind this thing out. And then you could get all the obvious, like the passing to like Kincaid and Coleman off of that. So this was set up pretty well. Hopefully, again, there's another one. If you guys are not following, make sure you guys are following on TikTok. Make sure you guys are following on YouTube, Player Profiler, FF Strategist, Eric P. Football. This is the shit that I tell you before the game. This is not revisionist history. All of what I just said, I said in the Start Sit Live on TikTok prior to the game. So make sure you guys are subscribing. It's really important.
I work with the man. He know his stuff. Trust me.
Hell yeah, brother. I don't even know if there's some. Oh, there are negatives. Let's just go negative for a couple. Get these out of the way. We got good vibes going. It's Halloween. We're trying to like keep it positive, but we're just gonna crush through some of these misses because there were some misses that really boned us, bro.
True.
And the question here about Aubrey or Boswell, I'm probably gonna go Aubrey slightly over Boswell. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't do any research into kickers, so kind of take that as you will. All right, let's just get this team out of the way right now.
It's Halloween and this team is scary. Like you would actually think that they would be a whole lot better given what they are on paper. They just don't execute. You know, even from an analytical perspective, you're like, all you can come up with is WTF. Like what is going on with this squad? Breece Hall, his day would be a lot better if the touchdown that went to Braylon Allen was actually for him. But 16 carries, 80 yards, they're just not consistent. Every time you see them have a pretty decent week, you see a player who's going off. You see that they got Devontae Adams. You read that they got Hassan Reddick. The team's going to have more opportunities. They're going to be able to control the game. It doesn't come together for the Jets. They might be cursed or something, man, because, like, they've got Wilson. Wilson went over 100 yards today. He had a very good game, but they lost, like, to the Patriots. Like, what are we talking about? I mean, like, no disrespect to New England fans, but y'all not it this year. The Jets, that's a division team. Like, they should have really came with it, and they lost the game. 16 carries for 80 yards for Breece Hall for 9.9 points, 1 reception for 9 yards. Devontae Adams, this your homeboy. My man doing interviews in your house and shit. My man getting 9.4 points, 4 of 6 receptions for 54 yards. What's happening, man? What is going on?
Like this, it's easy, and it's probably like too easy to do this. I always blame Aaron, man. Just bad vibes, bro. Like bad vibes on him. Like it ain't working. And they're probably gonna win unnecessary games. Like, would it surprise me? Like, it would obviously surprise everyone, but would it shock me to my core if they beat the Texans on Halloween this week? Not really.
True.
Because they just do random stuff like that. But they've made their path to trying to win this division basically impossible, but really difficult. Like, they're going to have to pull what the Buffalo Bills did last year, where they won 6 straight down the stretch to make it.
Yep.
And I don't like. I need to see. Like, I don't know. I know people were so like tripping on Stephon Diggs last year. I still kind of believed in that locker room. I believed in the vets that they had. I need to see that part here to believe that they can make that turnaround, except for Aaron Rodgers blaming everything on everyone else, and except for him just taking some accountability. Because it's hard to rock with it. Now, for Breece Hall, I'm not super worried about Breece. To me, if they're great or if they're bad, I think this is an aberration stat line if they're going to be a terrible team, because he will get significantly more receptions than this. His yardage on the rushing will be kind of sus, and it's going to depend on him breaking something open big. But he's a good enough player to just get his separately.
Gotcha.
Devontae Adams, that one, like, I'm just surprised they have not connected in the red zone yet. That's what I thought was going to start happening. Like that was the kind of the biggest reason you bring you. That's really the biggest reason you bring in these vets. These are guys who, for these quarterbacks, like with D-Hop, and we're going to talk about him, like they win quick, they win in short area. There was even on that Braylon Allen play, you had Devontae Adams going in motion. I guess the play worked, they scored, but like I knew he was getting the pass. Like I knew that Aaron Rodgers was going to snap the ball and just throw it without even, like, even if it was a called run, like he was just get it and just chuck it. And so I want to dig into the film on this because to understand what's really happening here. But yeah, this team sucks. Like you lost to the Patriots, who had Drake May for a hot second, and then you lost to Jacoby Brissett, basically.
Yeah.
You just played Jacoby Brissett a few weeks ago and beat his ass. And so I don't know. Ramondre scored 2 touchdowns. Hunter Henry had a solid day, not like all the other tight ends today, but Drake May actually was cooking them on the ground too. It's going to be interesting how they play on Halloween. I really just don't like. I just kind of need Aaron Rodgers to like stop that Pat McAfee shit. Just stop. Like, just shut it down. Shut it down. Think about football and play well this week. Don't go on Wednesday and talk to Pat. Just shut up, study, and just make sure you guys are good to go. Keep driving the offensive pace, and hopefully Hassan Reddick could make some more impact on defense.
Agreed.
Golly, this man. I think I'm just out on that guy, bro. I just don't. Yeah, I'm just not in it. All right, next terrible situation. This one. Golly, so the Green Bay Packers. This was my call of the day. Browns win. Jameis having a great day. Call of the day. Terrible call of the day. Jordan Love, top 3 quarterback. 6.4 points. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, he got injured. You don't be too hard on him. He was terrible prior to that. He was not doing anything. 1 interception, no touchdowns. This is by far the easiest matchup you're going to have. Pass defense-wise. They are the bottom bare basement in the NFL. They are terrible. They don't get their hands on the ball, except for against you. They don't do anything. Like, they give up so many yards and touchdowns. And then Jordan Love just could not execute with that receiver core. Like, we don't have all the receivers up here, but none of them did anything. Reed, Dobbs, Watson, Wicks, none of them did anything. Kraft had a good game because he's a tight end, so every tight end had a great day today. Yep. But outside of that, like, it was a terrible game for him. And now it seems like he's a little dinged up. So I don't know what his injury is. But he tried to come back and then he left again. It was a groin. Yeah, it's a groin issue. So not even his knee where he was dealing with the MCL earlier this season. I'm not concerned about this, honestly, unless he's hurt. If he's out for a while, that's different. But if he's healthy next week, I'm going to just start him. I'm not like saying, I don't think that like Jordan Love's going to suck, but I'm trying to find their schedule. Who are they playing? So they play the Lions at home next week. That is a great matchup. That is a great shootout setup. So I'm going to fire up Jordan Love again. This is just one of those really disappointing weeks. Hopefully this is just an aberration. We could just move on from it.
Yeah, I agree. Jordan Love, from a fantasy perspective, he's the number 1 player on this team you want because you don't know which receiver it is that's going to get off. Kraft doesn't even get off every single week, though he's been a very good tight end. But they have so much talent at wide receiver. You're surprised that he does struggle. So I'm going to say he's going to get it together. He has just too many opportunities and too much talent around him to not be good. The guy's got the inability in himself to go ahead and make things happen. And he's got tons of wide receivers around him. Like, you got Reed right there, their main guy, but they were getting the ball to Dobbs a few weeks in a row. They've got Dontavian Wicks, who they were trying to get involved. They've got Christian Watson as well to go ahead and get involved. They got Melton was another name that I'd seen coming up out of nowhere. They were throwing the ball to as well. They've got tons of opportunities to throw the ball to people. And on that next game, as if you were watching the Lions today, you got to be able to score with them. You've got to be able to put up some buckets with them. They run the score up. So you need to be able to score with the Lions. You see the Lions, just know you better come with your A game on offense. For sure, for sure.
100%. And we've got a quick question here before we talk about the Lions. The question is Malik Neighbors or CeeDee Lamb. For me, I'm starting Malik. CD could always just have a great day. But just the way that the San Francisco 49ers play defense, they make the window so tight, and Dak has to be so precise, and he has to be so accurate for CD to do well. And then CD's also going to have to break some tackles. Now, he could do all of that. It just seems like you're asking for a lot versus you got Malik Neighbors going up against the Steelers. And while everyone says, oh, my God, the big bad Steelers, oh, no. Joey Porter Jr. is not playing well, and Malik Neighbors could just dog walk him. And so if the Giants have any possibility of trying to win this game, Malik Neighbors is going to have to be a dog. He dominates first downs. He dominates his target share overall. And so I feel so much more confident in Malik Neighbors than CD tonight against the 49ers.
I agree.
But they're both top
a lot more volume too.
I mean, volume will probably be fine for both. I just also trust. I mean, Brian Dable is so much more creative in getting his player the ball with opportunity to do something versus Mike McCarthy, who just kind of says, hey, just go run up the field and just make something happen. I'm just not a fan of that. To me, we're starting to see the Mike McCarthy that was pissing us off with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, where we have no creativity in this offense, and I'm just depending on my quarterback to make impossible things happen, and I'm not going to really help him out. So I feel like we're kind of there. Hopefully, they just prove me wrong against the 49ers tonight. But yeah, CD, I mean, I'm never going to not start him. He's always going to be a top 10, top 8 type of player. But I just like Malik Neighbors' upside in the situation where they're probably going to have to be thrown.
Respect.
All right, the Lions. And now you may be asking, why the hell do you have him as a miss? Great game for them. This was just one where it was wonky for sure. I mean, they said it was like over 200 return yards in this game.
Yep.
We have a running back throwing a passing TD in David Montgomery. We have 2 running back rushing touchdowns and a punt return TD. It was just a crazy, weird, wonky game. I wouldn't be freaking out about Jared Goff, but what I will say is that's kind of been like 2 to 3 wonky, very low yardage games in a row because this offense is just so dynamic in the run game. Like, it is something to think about when you talk about Jared Goff's ceiling, because this run defense is a tough one. The Tennessee Titans were at the top of the league and like no gain plays or like tackles for loss. They're just a tough defense. Now, obviously, the Lions offensive line, top 6 rated in PFF, but like this is a defense who Tennessee, like, they can stop the run. And the Lions said, I don't give a shit about any of that. Like, especially like Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, I'm gonna dominate these boys. Like David Montgomery, I will say, if you're thinking of kind of like sell high, it's hard to sell high on David Montgomery. He scores all the time, right? But he is like, I'm interested to see how the snaps go because, I mean, obviously he threw the touchdown pass, but he had 9 carries for 33 yards, 1 reception for 5 yards versus Jahmyr Gibbs, who had 11 carries for 127 yards and a touchdown and 1 reception for 6 yards. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to lead them in snaps. He's going to have more receiving work than Montgomery. And unless there's an injury to Gibbs, like, Montgomery's ceiling is a little capped. So I do think there's a world where you could kind of sell high on what he just did today, David Montgomery, if you want to. But again, like, don't force it. If you want to keep him, keep him. Yeah. Appreciate the follow. I am him. Thanks for the follow on TikTok. And then Amon-Ra, that I just similar concern, I guess, to Jared Goff. I think we have a little bit of like a cap upside there because of how effective their rushing game is. But I think the thing that impacted him more is probably like the special teams stuff. Like, they just didn't need to throw the ball that much. And so if you don't need to throw that much, like, you're not going to get that much work. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Last thing on this. So Laporta, there was a lot of concern about Laporta. I do think, and I mean, it's only 2 games, but this is a guy was so directly impacted by the presence of Jamison Williams, because this year his air yards and yards, like deep ball passes, they were so much fewer than what he was on pace for last year. But last year, Jamison Williams was basically a non-factor. Yeah. This year, Jamison Williams, even though he's on or off, he's still a factor on the field. And so I do think in the next games, I mean, this is one, then next week, Sam Laporta is an easy top 4 start to me because he's getting that downfield stuff.
Good call.
All right. Do we want to go back positive? Where you want to go?
Yeah, we can go positive for sure. Talk about old Ridley.
All right, we're gonna do that one quick.
Yeah, the loss of D-Hop, they're probably going to force the ball to Calvin Ridley. Calvin really had a great game. As you see, 15 targets, 10 catches for 140 yards. He did lose a fumble, but he even got a freaking carry for 3 yards. If you have Calvin Ridley, this is somebody who you at least know going forward you can anticipate high volume. What else they're going to be throwing the ball to? So that's what I would look forward to with Calvin Ridley. This is a great bounce back game for him. So we can go ahead and just keep it at that.
I feel you on that. The definition of sell high. Oh my God. Get him off your team. You could say the volume, and that's great.
Yeah.
Get him off your team. Get this man off your team. And you
package him with Waddle.
Like, really, this is like the case you made. Oh, he got all this volume. This is a team you could even say in the offseason, all they want to do is pass, and they're getting back to that. Rudolph is actually giving them an opportunity as a quarterback. Who do they play next? Let's see. They're playing the Tennessee Titans, are playing the Patriots. They're playing the Patriots. This is the case for you to sell Ridley, get him off your team. They're playing the Patriots, getting a ton of volume. He squeaky wheel game, and he got it, so they're going to give him a volume moving forward. Use that shit and get him off your squad, please.
I can see it.
Like, just get him off your team. All right. And then last thing, I'm going to touch on this real quick, and then we could talk about the game that's about to kick off in like a second. I don't know what the Colts are doing. 10 of 32 is like wild business, bro. Like, that's 10 of 32 for 175 yards and 1 touchdown. And I mean, that touchdown catch was amazing. Oh no, sorry. That touchdown catch didn't count. The one that went down.
Oh, you talking about downs?
Yeah. He got 169 yards, but then he had that other one that was like super crazy cool. So I don't want to take away from that. I just think that this is less honestly about Pittman. Like, you can't start Pittman with Anthony Richardson. It's really a crapshoot. Roll or die. Like, Downs was great today. I have no faith in him next week if Richardson's a starter. The question to me is, like, why is Richardson still starting? Like, to me, it's really easy if I'm a Colts fan, because they had the division up in their hands today. And if they put in Joe Flacco at halftime when it looked like Richardson was dinged up, I think they win that game, because you cannot afford to get swept by a team who's going to win the division, because now you have to get a wild card spot. And so I thought that was very clear to Shane Steichen. So I thought they were going to put in Joe Flacco. Or we're going to have a game plan where Anthony Richardson runs the ball 12 plus times. We're just running the ball with JT. We're going to throw 20 total passes max. That game plan also makes sense. So either Richardson is out of the game, you're putting in Flacco and you're chucking it. Or if you're going to play with Richardson, you do the same thing like you did with rookie Lamar Jackson, rookie Josh Allen, because Anthony Richardson is still essentially a rookie from games played, and you just let him run and make very simple reads and very simple throws. They keep tucking him back there like he's Pat Mahomes making all these reads. He is not that. They need to stop it. Shane Steichen is the person who failed the most today for that Colts team. I'm clearly just bitter and ranting.
Hey, man, you can't argue with that logic. That just makes sense. So you wonder what is going against that.
Yeah, it's common sense, I think. All right, so in this game, let's just do these game picks. So tonight, I'm going to be picking the San Francisco 49ers. They're another team who can't afford to lose. You could say the same thing about Dallas. I just don't think they have the bodies for it. And like I said before, I do think San Francisco is going old school Kyle Shanahan, heavy run game, play action off of that. I'm not starting Ricky Pearsall. I definitely picking him up and stashing him if I have to think about that. Dalvin Cook, if you're desperate, you could start him, but that's another person I'd rather stash. Hopefully we get another resurgence like we've seen with Kareem Hunt. But I am expecting the 49ers to win decently big. Debo, I'm starting him if he's active. I don't even know if he's active. Kittle, starting him on National Tight End Day. He literally is the one who made it up. You got to start him. So I think those are kind of my top plays for the 49ers in Dallas. I think 49ers win. I think they cover.
Yeah, I also think the 49ers are going to win this game. And I thought Jordan Mason would probably be the focal point, as you mentioned already. That's why he was the number one bet that you pretty much brought up. Can't argue with that at all. I got him on fantasy, and I am looking forward to the many, many points.
Yep. He's going to get it. And again, the prop over 16.5 carries, I'm taking that over. I think that he's going to get the ball probably 22 times. Obviously, he has to finish the game. All right, y'all, that's it. I appreciate it. We appreciate you hopping on your holiday. I guess it's not really a holiday. It's only only reason I'm celebrating Halloween is because all the trick-or-treating happened over here like over the weekend. And so we did all that stuff. But real Halloween is on Thursday. We got a Thursday night scary matchup. We get to see the horrendous, awful, terrifying Jets offense on Halloween. So that's so scary and so appropriate. So with that being said, thanks for watching Hits and Misses. We're going to be back on next week, possibly Gotta talk to you about that off camera, possibly next week. But make sure you guys tune in because there's always a show on this channel. So make sure you guys are subscribing to Player Profiler. Every single day there is multiple shows to help you get better in fantasy. All right, y'all. Peace out.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.